Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Steve Flanagan, the commander of HHBn USARCENT. This is Command Sergeant Major J.R. Rodriguez, our Battalion Command Sergeant Major, and I have here Captain Jen Paz, our Battalion PA. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. First of all, I want to offer condolences for all of you that have lost family members or friends during this pandemic. I know it's exceptionally tough times. I also offer my condolences and apologies also to the families affected by this with your PCS plans, your leave plans. I understand it's put some hardship on a lot of families out there, so we're doing what we can to help you out. Some things we recommend for each of you: please stay tuned to all the CDC guidelines on the things to do and not do to keep yourselves and your families safe during this pandemic. We also ask that you stay tuned to us. We're trying to get out updates to you as much as things change, and that is happening through our weekly emails and also through our social media. We now have keeping updates going on YouTube, on Instagram, and Facebook now, so please follow us on those for all the updates. We also encourage you to stay home as much as possible, regardless of what the guidelines are in the local area. Stay home as much as possible, and if you must go out, wear your PPE, your masks and your gloves, and maintain your social distance 6 feet as much as possible. Also, stay connected with your loved ones and stay connected with us, remotely, of course, but that's important to do. Things we can do together, we've been doing and have been going great, some of our virtual SFRG events. So the Spirit Week was a great success. We appreciate everyone's participation with that. We've already had a lot of engagement with our virtual art competition and encourage more with that as we have a couple weeks left of that. And then, of course, being with us here today. Also, at the end of this meeting, we'll announce something exciting we have planned for May for you to stay engaged with us as well. As we go forward with this SFRG meeting, we have it set up as a town hall format. So please just ask you to mute your microphones and type in any questions you have in the comments section. We may not be able to get to them all. We have some questions that were sent in ahead of time, so we'll start with those and then we'll go to ones that you send in your comments. With that, we'll turn it over for any questions you have.
Okay, sir, the first question comes from an individual who sent it in via email. They would like to know, how are we as HHBn helping soldiers maintain a healthy balance between homes and work due to individuals being laid off work and kids not being in school?
Okay, so that kind of ties into things we're doing to keep the headquarters safe. We've got to protect our force and our families. So we have most of the headquarters teleworking. Now, for about 25% of the people, they're still coming in every day or most days. So there are individuals that are still working full time. But we've reduced the population coming to the headquarters. So those people at home, that should be able to help alleviate some of those issues with family constraints. Now, we do acknowledge that there may be people who are working right now. If they need to help more at home, we ask them to engage with their supervisors, their directorates, because we can manage personnel internally to make sure that we're doing what we can to help families during these challenging times.
Sir, a question from Facebook Live. Mr. Carr wants to know, what is the unit doing to mitigate the spread of COVID-19?
Good question. So first of all, what DOD has done and the unit's enforced is put a stop move in effect, and many of you have been affected by that. And that right now is going to be reassessed every 15 days, and it's expected to stay until 30 June right now, so people aren't doing their PCS moves and minimizing movement so people can stay home as much as possible. What we're doing here specifically is a few things. We're doing 2 screenings. Everyone coming to the headquarters. They get a screening at the gate, and then they get a more thorough screening before they enter this building. We're checking for temperature and then asking them the questions, any symptoms, if so, not coming in the building. Other things we're doing here, of course, as I mentioned, 75% are teleworking. We've had public health come do inspections here, looking at any things that we can improve to help mitigate COVID. We have daily cleaning of the headquarters going on. and we've had them focus on the door handles and things like that. In addition to we're propping doors open, minimizing any transmission points in the building. Of course, we've mandated social distancing of at least 6 feet. If you have to come within 6 feet, you must wear a mask, and then people can wear masks at all times. They're authorized to if they like. We're also doing teleconferences for most of our meetings, so people don't have to get face-to-face. They can do it from their office. And anyone that does become exposed, we're doing rapid contact tracing and aggressive quarantines to basically quarantine anyone that's even suspected of coming into contact with it. So we're just going above the CDC guidelines on that, just to minimize, just to protect our force and our families. We're going stricter than those guidelines. One other thing we've done on the FRG side, we've already pushed back Family Day from early June to 7 August, so that doesn't, we don't have to worry about that too soon either. Thank you.
Sir, a question from Skype. Person logged in as Mike wants to know, why are USARCENT soldiers limited to a 75-mile travel radius?
Okay, thank you for your question, Mike. So, basic guidance we've received from higher after consulting with experts on how to mitigate this. They came up with 75 miles as a reasonable radius for everyone to stay within during this time. Now, exceptional policies can and many have been approved to go beyond that, but it is reserved for cases of extreme hardship or humanitarian, people separated from their families. It is not being approved for vacations or things like that.
Also, sir, someone else from Skype, Maria wants to know, when it comes to PCSing, how is that going to look if I still have orders that are before June 30th? And how is it going to look if I have orders after June 30th?
Okay. CSM, you want to talk to that one?
So currently, if you have orders before June 30th, more than likely you need to engage your branch manager who will detail those orders for you. And if not, then you can engage it through your first sergeant company commander to get up to our S1, and we'll make those phone calls to confirm whether or not you're still slated for that same move date. More than likely that order will adjust unless you fall under certain parameters of a course starts at a certain date or you need to be at a certain place based on the requirement from that organization. Right now they are point-to-point moves plus 10 days of leave, and that is also going to have to be approved by the commander, and it's all case-by-case basis. It'll all be approved by the commander on a case-by-case basis. Anybody after June, hopefully we'll be out of this and we'll probably go back to a similar move PCS type schedule. But that is, we're gonna wait to see when that guidance comes out.
Roger, Sergeant Major, thank you. A small question that pertains to this, sir, is transportation working though? Will I still be able to move my have the Army move my things, or am I going to be required to move my things if I have a date before June 30th?
Okay, so what I'm tracking is you can still contact transportation to coordinate pickup for household goods. Now, know that there is going to be, we are getting more people crunched into a smaller time, so it is going to be challenging, okay? And there people may have to have a little more patience than usual as far as getting the date they want. Another thing we are encouraging more of is PPMs or personally procured moves. So if you want to arrange for the move yourself, you get, I think it's something like 95% of what a transportation provider would get. It's a little more work on your part, but potentially more money for you as well. So that may be one way to mitigate that.
Thank you, sir. So this question also comes from Facebook Live from Sarah. When will we be able to do regularly scheduled appointments, specifically dental?
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I think that's a great question for Captain Paz.
Yes, sir. Right now, the entire clinic, even dental, they're scheduled to look at routine appointments starting June 1st. So that is what they're working with as their timeline, and I'm hoping it doesn't change. As far as other dental care, they're still taking if you had acute issues or pain, or people that are slated to for deployers, they can still make those appointments.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Also, another one from Jeremy on Facebook confusing. How does it look for my service member going overseas? He normally always goes over regularly to TDY to the Middle East. Is that still occurring?
So, routine, thank you, Jeremy. Good question, and quick answer is it depends. Most TDYs are on hold right now. There are, again, exceptions to policy that can be made for mission essential, extreme hardship, or humanitarian reasons. Those are the three areas we look for, exceptions to policy. If someone was TDY when this came on, they are, based off new order, they are allowed to return to their home station. If that home station was in Kuwait, they can return to Kuwait. If they were TDY somewhere else in the U.S., their home station is here, they can come back here. So that has recently been lifted. But routine TDYs, where people were going over to Kuwait, 1 week a month or something like that, those are on hold for now.
All right, thank you, sir. Diane from Facebook wants to know, is JAG open to do wills and other things for service members and families?
Ooh, good question, Diane. I'm not sure on that. Do you know something?
It currently is open. You have to do there's an 800 number there's a number you can call. It works kind of like an 800 number, and then you'll confirm with them what time you can come in to do that. Some of the documents they've been able to send ahead. You fill out the documents, send them back to them so that they have the paperwork ready for you to come in and just sit down and sign, execute. They are, like everybody else, working on limited personnel, so a lot of it is interaction over email before they actually make the appointment for you to come in to get the power of attorney, the will, or any legal advice done.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Major, sir. All right, sir, so Billy from Skype wants to know, will he still be able to retire over the summer months?
Yes. Billy, if you want to retire over the summer months, you can. So this is not putting any restriction or limitations on retirements, and then once you're retired, you can travel as you wish. Thank you for your service to our nation.
Thank you. All right, sir. So the next question is from Chrissy. Chrissy wants to know, how long should we expect soldiers to be teleworking? Do we have a date for when, at this time, service members are going to start working from the house again, or from USARCENT building again?
Okay, thank you, Chrissy. So that's another one. Unfortunately, it depends. So that's going to depend on conditions, and we're developing plans for a phased reopening of the headquarters. That will be very much conditions-based. If over time, for instance, a period of weeks, we see a decrease in the number of cases in the local area, the command, advised by the staff, may approve starting a phased reopening. That may look like going from 25% in the building to 33% to eventually 50%, a gradual reopening. And we'll be keeping control measures in place, because what we don't want to enable is a second wave, and we're not going to get lax. We're going to maintain our vigilance as we reopen this. But that is a good question, and that will be something you're going to have to stay tuned for updates as we go forward.
Thank you. Sir Corey from Skype wants to know, when it comes to this pandemic and service members, spouses maybe being laid off, how is it working? Are AER loans still available, or any type of supplemental funding for people that have problems with their bills or something like that, sir?
Yes, Sergeant Major, you want to talk about AER?
AER is still available right now. You can call the national AER number. You can easily Google that number. If not, we'll drop it in here at the end of the video in the comments for you to Google it. The AER department here at Shaw Air Force Base and the one at Fort Jackson are also still working. They're limited personnel. They're going to do everything online with you. They'll send you the documents. We just had a soldier do this. They'll send you the documents, you fill everything out, and then you send it back, and it's a back and forth email conversation until they make a determination of how they're able to support you. There is no rank determination. A private E1 all the way up to E9 and or 06 colonel can use the program if they choose to during COVID response.
And just for any new family members that don't know, so AER stands for Army Emergency Relief, and that's designed as a program to help struggling soldiers in cases like that.
Sir, there's a message from Ronnie. Ronnie wants to know, is there any limit to how much leave we can take due to this new teleworking style, even if it's local? So I think what's trying to be asked is there, if a service member still has leave but it's local for like June, are they still good to take their leave? There's no limitations due to something like that in effect.
Okay, thank you, Ronnie. So yes, you can still take your leave locally. There is no restriction on that. Where restrictions do come in is when, if you want to take a leave beyond 75 miles, that is where the restrictions come in. Additionally, it might be noted that there is information that's going out on an extension for be able to potentially carry over extra leave days into future FYs that normally expire at the end of this FY. So that is a nice thing that the DoD is doing for us in light of this COVID situation. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Okay, so for individuals that are not on Facebook, there's a Army Emergency Relief Fund link that just went out. I will put that in Skype for the individuals that are in Skype momentarily. I do have a question, sir. Can you give any guidance on maybe how you've been staying in shape? We know that most individuals are home and we shouldn't be doing organized PT. So can you give anything on that?
Sure, I'd love to, and I'm sure CSM would love to chat on this one too. So, you know, I shared a video recently. It has been a challenging time, as you know. I admit I've been someone that likes to go to the gym a lot, and those have been closed down. So, a few different ideas. So there are. I mean, first of all, running's always available. It's important to keep cardio up, and I like this question because this is fitness is important for our soldiers, for readiness, but for everyone, it strengthens immunity. It's just good for everyone's health. So if you're doing PT with your whole family right now, that's awesome. It builds family, and it's good for your health. But some different ideas is there's a lot of great online resources right now, and a lot of places are making them free right now that are not normally free. So I'm not endorsing any specific apps, but I want to share a couple that I know of that are free because they've been passed on to me, and I found them useful. We sent out one about Wellbeats recently. They have different exercise classes. There's a Nike training center. There's also there's a 54D one on Instagram. I know my wife's gotten into that one lately. Those are ones that are free. I'm sure there's many more. Again, I'm not endorsing specific ones, but there are a lot of different options you can have, and you don't need a whole gym to get a workout. With just a little equipment or no equipment, you can get good workouts. And then if you are interested in getting equipment, there are things you can get for relatively low cost, for like getting a whole gym. There's TRX straps and different things like that you can do different things for different workouts. And then of course I know CSM has a home gym, but I'll turn it over to CSM for any other ideas.
Hey, listen, the best way to defeat this virus is to stay physically fit. At the same time, we gotta stay, ready, right? Because we never know when that bell's gonna be rung, and when they ring that bell, we gotta be ready to go. So, biggest thing you can do is figure out a way. There's a whole bunch of videos out there, YouTube videos. But I would tell you that the easiest thing, especially for people that are looking at trying to prepare for the upcoming Army Combat Fitness Test, fill your duffel bag up with all your A items or B items or deployment items. Fill it all up. Deadlift that thing. If you can fill 2 of them up with all the TA-50 you got, deadlift that. Put some clothes in there, maybe some jeans or something. I've seen various videos of things that people can do at home, and you can use that stuff to do deadlift, overhead squats, overhead presses, various different things inside your house. If you're lucky enough to have a gym, squat rack, stuff like that, just get out there and get after it is the biggest thing. Wake up before the sun comes up, knock it out, and then that way you got the rest of the day to do your work, whether it's teleworking or coming in to here to Patton Hall to work. But like I said, you never know when that bell's going to be rung, and when it's rung, it's time to go. It's go time.
All right, thank you, sir, Sergeant Major. One of the last questions we have here is an individual on Facebook, Michelle, wants to know, since we can't come in and support the battalion by buying things like mugs and T-shirts, have we made it available some other way?
Yes, great question, Michelle. Thanks. We just got our online store up and running, so there should be, if we haven't already, we'll post a flyer with suggested donation prices for some of the items we have. We have a lot of great stuff in our store. We have T-shirts, mugs, wine glasses. We have some baby items. And what else we got? We got blankets. We got the Afghan blankets. And those things, we love to get it out there because it shows your pride in our unit. But also, we get a small profit on each of those that goes towards our FRG events. For instance, we have Family Day later this summer. We're going to need to raise money for that. So we don't have as much leeway on how we raise funds right now because we can't do things face-to-face. Our online store helps that. So we encourage you to participate with that. And of course, while I'm talking that topic, if anyone has any creative ideas for fundraising or anything like that over the next couple of months, we're all about engagement, and just going back to our last question about the working out, I got a response from a young kid on what he's doing for workouts. We encourage that kind of engagement, that exchange of ideas on our social media and everything, keeping their families connected. So feel free to share stuff with us on the social media or send us messages as well. We appreciate that, and we can use some good ideas too. So thank you. Okay, I think I guess that's all we got for questions coming in today, so we don't need to drag this on any longer, and we thank you for dialing in for your good questions. If you forgot to ask a question or you're too shy to type it in there, feel free you can either put it in now, or you can send us messages on our Facebook. You can send it to Mrs. Duffy. The first contact info is in the newsletter, and or arcentfrg@gmail.com is our Gmail account there. You can send those in. I want to thank everyone for joining us here tonight. And while I have the opportunity, I want to thank some of our volunteers who have been helping us lately. I want to thank Mrs. Galliano, who's been helping us a lot with our social media and newsletter. Mrs. Dominguez and Arnett have been sharing some great ideas with us to get the virtual events going. Our advisors, Mrs. Chu and Mrs. Williams, have been great for helping us on our way forward with this FRG. And then we had 2 treasurers step up recently, Mrs. Fannin and Mrs. Zukowitz, who we couldn't run SFRG without treasurers. So thank you all volunteers. Anyone else wants to volunteer, please let us know. We'd appreciate that. I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate 4 of our soldiers getting promoted tomorrow. We're very proud of them. They're well deserving of that. It's Lieutenant Mallory promoted to captain, and then we have Sergeant Osei, Sergeant Overstreet, and Sergeant Hodges all getting promoted to Staff Sergeant tomorrow. So we're excited about that, and we congratulate you and your families on that. We'd appreciate also be interested in your feedback here tonight. If this was helpful, And if there's any questions, of course, we didn't answer for you. Also, stay tuned again to our emails and our social media, Facebook, Instagram. If for updates, we'll be sharing them on there. And again, reminder: please pencil in August 7th for our Family Day, which will be right here at USARCENT headquarters. Also, May is the month of the military spouse, and it's also the month of Mother's Day. So we have an idea that we're going to be kicking off to honor both our military spouses and our mothers. So please stay tuned. We're going to post that on our Instagram and our Facebook for you to join in that. So please stay tuned because we'll be posting that very soon. So please check in with us there. Is any other alibis coming in or any other last question? Okay.
Yes, sir. John wants to know, can you elaborate on the art project you stated at the beginning of the meeting?
Okay, good question. John, so we have a virtual art competition ongoing. Right now, we've set the date to go through May 15th, and we've already had some stuff coming in, some great artwork. What we're looking for is positivity, all right? What I've been talking about in some of my recent videos, the 6 P's to beat COVID. We have physical distance, PT, positivity, patience, perseverance, and patent zone. All right, those things. I might add a 7th, PPE. Okay, wear it if you go out. All right, but we're looking for these elements in our art. All right, from kids to get on there, and whether it be something they do in the chalk in the neighborhood, or they do at their home, to just encouraging messages to beat COVID. And if you want to put an USARCENT flavor on it, that's even better. And what we're going to do is post your pictures online and share those. And first of all, that's encouraging for people watching online. And also, we're going to ask you then to bring in your art for the things that can be brought in when we do have our Family Day. So we'll have small awards for the winners there. So please, thank you for asking that question. We ask that please continue on with that. It's a great way to stay engaged, do something creative and positive to support our soldiers and families in the COVID fight here. Any others? Okay. Hey, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your patience and perseverance in this time. Thanks for your support for your soldiers, for our civilians, and for our headquarters. We appreciate it, and we couldn't do all this without you. Thank you all. Kill the virus. Patent zone.
Third.
Always first.